Well, there's an old song from the 60s called Do You Know the Way to San Jose? And it's about Los Angeles. And of course, Los Angeles has come a long way since the 60s, but very educational lyrics in this song when you think about explaining certain circumstances of life from a point of view that pretty realistic to people's experience. The song says LA is a great big freeway. Put 100 down and buy a car. In a week, maybe two, they'll make you a star. Weeks turn into years. How quick they pass. And all the stars that never were are parking cars and pumping gas. And as I said, it is enlightening because it had insight into the experience of so many people. Yes, you could go to LA, go to Hollywood and become a star, but the probability of that happening was incredibly low. I'm reminded of a verse in Ecclesiastes, a very good life learning verse. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11, Ecclesiastes 9:11. The writer of Ecclesiastes is saying, you know what? As I kept looking at the way things are in this world under the sun, I noticed that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill. And the things that we see which should bring success don't always bring success. It concludes by saying, but time and chance happens to them all. Boy, is that ever the truth. We live in a world where time and chance can make all the difference on whether a person is successful or not under the sun in the eyes of the world. I mean, we look at, as a song says, all these people wanting to be stars, but only a few make it. Is that because only the few who made it were the most talented in the world? Well, I have no doubt that artists are talented people. But to say one artist that makes celebrity is so much more talented than one who didn't, I'm not sure that's the way it works. Even in sports, we give gold medals to the best athletes in the world that we know of. Who's to know whether someone much more capable of winning a particular competition never had the time and chance to be where that person is? And so as we look at the world, we realize time and chance makes a big difference in success. Now, I'm not saying when I talk about being lucky in being successful that makes a person untalented, although it does say in the verse that riches don't go to men of understanding. Pretty fascinating. It doesn't say that all rich men are stupid, but as sometimes the people who are wealthy don't seem to be very smart, but time and chance favored them, and they became in control of great fortunes. But as we look at this, we also have a verse earlier in Ecclesiastes in chapter 3, verse 1, where it says, for every season, there is a reason. And there's a time for every purpose under heaven. Wow. So even though we might not be successful in the eyes of the world, there is a purpose for the time in which we're in. In the book of Esther, she was told by her cousin Mordecai that, you know what? You might have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Now, of course, she was in a very high position, was able to make great influence. But the idea that you're at a particular place at a particular time and you have an opportunity to do what's right and to serve God in that situation, that is not just coincidence. Although everything looks like time and chance, there is a purpose behind many things. And as we look at the end of Ecclesiastes in chapter 12, verse 13, it says, what's the conclusion of this whole matter? It says, fear God, do what he wants you to do. This is what makes man complete. Wow. There is a completeness that we can experience in all of the apparent time and chance by doing what God wants us to do. And in the last part of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it says that he has made everything beautiful in his time. Now we know there's some things that aren't very pretty, aren't very beautiful, as this time and chance world keeps happening, but in the time we have an opportunity to do some beautiful things, to make some things beautiful. We might not be able to change the world or be successful in the world's eyes, but in our time, in our day, can we make something beautiful as we seek to live for God? That's my thought for today. Thanks for listening.